Good morning and welcome to day 2 of the 9th Annual Trauma-Informed Care Summit. We are focused on resilience, healing, and hope. Like I mentioned yesterday, my hope for these morning mindfulness sessions is to offer you an experience of how your body is a resource for resilience. Today, I'm wearing a t-shirt from the Hey I'm Here initiative. This is by and for youth and young adults to break the stigma of mental health challenges. I will link their info in the description box below. As a gentle reminder, I am requesting 2 things of you to make the most benefit from this practice. First, so that you can be fully present, I ask that you ignore any incoming emails, texts, etc. that are not emergencies. This is your time, so why not make the most of it? And second, I find that maintaining a sense of curiosity, or in the yoga world it's sometimes called the beginner's mind, is helpful to keep us in present, focused awareness. Like yesterday, we will use our chair for sensory input, and then if you choose, you can stay seated or you can come to standing. Okay, so in your seat, you might want to pick up one side and then the other with your hips so that you really get your sits bones rooted in your seat. If you're using an office chair, I recommend locking the wheels so you're not moving all around. And I recommend having your feet on the floor, and if they're dangling, they don't touch the floor. If you can place a book or something underneath so that you have that contact with the floor. We're gonna start by just noticing. So you don't have to do anything right now. I'm gonna ask you to do things in a minute with our form of our body, but for right now, I just want you to settle into your body. So rest your gaze somewhere, either on the floor or you can close your eyes. Just tune into how you're feeling. How did you feel when you woke up this morning? How did you feel when you prepared for your day? What did your body feel like? What did your mind feel like? Did you have racing thoughts? Did you feel calm? Just taking a moment to tune into how you're showing up. And now I would like you to bring some attention to your body and also bring some attention to your breath. So start by pressing your feet into the floor. Notice what that feels like. So bring your awareness to the soles of your feet. Maybe lift your toes and spread your toes. Bring your awareness to your sitting bones and press your sitting bones into your chair. Notice how that feels in your legs. And now notice how your shoulders feel. So sometimes when we're spending a lot of time at a computer or we're thinking really hard about something, our shoulders start to creep up. So just if it's available, you might invite those shoulders to relax back and down, and then notice what happens across the chest. So for me, I immediately notice some opening and some softness, some lightness that occurs just by paying attention to my shoulders, because I do have a tendency to kind of creep up, especially one more than the other. Maybe that's true for you. If it is, then just bring awareness there and invite the shoulder blades to come to your back body. And from here, then we're gonna take our fingertips and we'll start tapping on our chest. So just underneath your collarbones, we're tapping. This is called thymus tapping. And bring in some thoughts of openness, kindness, even just awareness to what's happening in and around your chest and your heart region. And if you've got any congestion, this is also great. It's great for stimulating the immune system. So just some tapping here. And you can even make some noise. So inhale, and then as you exhale, open your mouth. This is great to do with kids too. So if you have kids at home, especially little kids, they love this stuff. All right, bring your hands to your lap and notice if you feel any of that residual tingling, any sensations there. And now we'll begin with a little bit of scrubbing for our kidneys. So you're gonna make soft open fists and just tap here. I'll show you from the back. So you're tapping right here where the kidneys are, and then you can scrub. So we're warming up some things in our back before we do our seated cat-cow. Sometimes in a seat it's a little more challenging to get the full cat-cow experience. If you do this on all fours or standing, you might have a little more range of motion in that pose. So in the chair, I'm just asking that we warm up a little bit. All right, so scrub, tap, and then bring your hands to your knees. And again, you might wanna go from side to side. You can even pull the flesh out so you really get rooted in your seat. And we'll begin our cat-cow. So we're gonna inhale and arch the spine. You can even lift your chin, lift your gaze. And then as we round back, the fingers are in front of the knees, and we contract the abdominals slightly here. Inhale, lifting up, and exhale, rounding back. Now the reason, you'll just continue following your own breath here as I talk for a minute. The reason I like to practice cat-cow so often, not just because it's really nice for the spine, to wake up the spine before we do other movements, but also as helping professionals, we take on, right? We take in a lot of information, a lot of emotion and feelings, a lot of engagement with clients, with each other. And so all of that gets stored somewhere. It might get stored in your digestion. It might get stored in your heart. It might get stored in your hips or your thighs, but somewhere you are taking in a lot of information, and especially these days, we're also taking in information going on around the world. And it's heavy, right? And we're carrying around this heavy information. Sometimes it's in our shoulders, so we warm up our shoulders. But by contracting navel towards the spine, we start to facilitate some digestion here. This is an easy way, so it's not too aggressive. And you can do this, of course, anytime, but I recommend that you do it on at least a partially empty stomach, so not right after you've eaten. So if you just ate something, you would make this smaller, softer, and bring that to stillness. All right, now we're going to go for sort of a walk. So we're gonna pick up one knee. You can pick up that foot any amount here, so a little, or you can bring as much as you want into your chest. You're just bringing the knee towards your chest and then setting it down, and then picking up the other foot, bringing that knee towards the chest any amount and setting it down. So just going back and forth as if you were kind of walking, but of course we're seated, and so it's a little bit different. And again, we're doing this to kind of wake up the digestive process. So every time we're squeezing, we're actually squeezing some organs. It's really nice for times when maybe you can't get up. Like if you were on an airplane, I don't know, people are still traveling. Maybe for fun they're traveling. So squeezing and then releasing is really nice for the body. So this time, let's hold this knee. So lift that foot up off the floor. And again, it doesn't matter how much. So don't let that get in the way. And we're gonna start to make some circles with the ankle. So circling in one direction and circling in the other direction. And you might notice some little creaks in the ankle if you haven't been walking around too much yet today. If you've done both directions, then just set that down. Pause for a moment here. You might even start to notice some rumbling or some sensations going on in your belly. See if that's true for you. And then pick up the other side and make some circles with your ankle. And go the other direction. Making sure that the knee is traveling with the ankle as it's circling. So we don't want the ankle and the knee to be disorganized. So as we're circling the ankle, we just sort of let the knee go along for the ride. Making sure you did both directions, and then set that down. And one more time, as you lift, squeeze it in, and then as you set it down, inhale here, get fresh breath, and then exhale, squeeze the other knee in. We'll just do this a couple times. So inhale, all this blood is traveling around and nourishing the body. And set that down. All right, now let's warm up our shoulders and our upper body. So we'll inhale and then spread our arms out. So feel that across your chest and across your collarbones and your shoulder blades. And then we'll hug ourselves. So crossing one arm over the other and then opening back up. And squeeze and hug yourself. So I did this more frequently during the active part of the pandemic when we weren't hugging as much. So it's actually shown to bring oxytocin in. So you have healing energy in your hands, lots of sensations in our hands. So placing our hands on or even near our body brings in those feelings of safety and contentment and compassion. And now I want to invite you to stay on this side. So you can start to wrap your fingertips around maybe a little bit more and feel your breath in your back body. You can stay here, or another option would be if you have this range of motion in your body, you could bring your forearms up and either the backs of the hands can touch, or you can place two palms together. So see whatever happens in your body. Don't force anything, just see what's available to you. And you know you have options. Now if you ended up here, then I'm going to invite you to bring the thumb closest to you, to your forehead. So place that thumb to your forehead, right between your eyes. Close your eyes. Take your attention to the back of your brain. Soften your tongue and soften the roof of your mouth. One more breath here. When you're ready, open the eyes if they were closed. Extend your arms out. And I hope you know which one was on top, because now we're going to switch sides. And again, you can stay with wrapping your fingertips around. This is a lovely place. You can really feel the breath in your back body here. If you want to come into the eagle arms, as it's called, you can take the backs of the hands or the palms to touch. Whatever works out for you is just fine. Then if you liked that variation on the other side, I like to close my eyes. You can certainly keep them open. Just cast them downward. Place the thumb in between your eyes. Soften the top palate of your mouth. Soften your tongue. And take your attention to the back of your brain. So as we're in this position, you can even feel your breath, perhaps, in your back body. When you're ready, release. Open the arms up. So that's a great way to begin that sense of awareness and contemplation, bringing that into the body. So we're going to do some more active poses now. So we're going to build up some heat and some strength. I'm going to be seated. I might show you a little bit standing. You're going to do what feels right for you. So we're going to do a half sun salutation. So you could stand up now and come behind your chair. I'm just going to stay in my chair and demonstrate from here. So wherever you are, make sure that you've got a little bit of space between your feet so that they're right underneath the outside of your legs. So the outside of your legs, make sure your feet are lined up underneath you. Press down into your feet, especially if you're standing. Find that tall spine. And I'll show you what this looks like. So we're gonna lift one arm all the way up, and it might be here if you've got shoulder stuff going on. The other arm comes to the side. Then when we exhale, we'll bring it back to meet its partner on the other side and back down. If you were here yesterday, we did the same thing. So then we'll switch to the other side. You'll lift up to your highest point as you're inhaling, and then as you're exhaling, you'll bring them back down together. This is just a little bit of a trick for the brain. Makes us think and work a little bit more. Now, if you're standing or even in your chair, you can, as you're inhaling and lifting, you can lift your heels up off the floor. So now we're adding in a little bit of novelty by asking us to not only think about which side is going where, which arm is going where, but now we're also balancing. So finding how it feels on each side, how your body feels in space, how your balance feels, and where's your breath? This time, as you inhale, when you get to the top, pause for just a second, and then exhale. Inhale, and when you get to the top of your inhale, notice that pause, and then softly exhale. And now just rest your hands, roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Now we're gonna go into a pose called Warrior One. So I'm gonna turn on my chair. If you're using the chair, follow along with me, and then I'll show you what to do if you're standing. So then you're gonna take this back leg back any amount that feels comfortable for you. Toes can be curled under, or toes, the foot, top of the foot can come to your floor. And then you can use the back of your chair with your hand resting there. And what we'll do is we'll inhale the arm up overhead or into cactus, and we'll exhale it by our side. If you're standing, this is your Warrior One. You can either lift the heel or you could plant the heel. So you choose whatever feels right for you. And sometimes I like to do both versions because I just like the variety. So find a focal point, whatever version you're doing. Find a tall spine. When you're ready, you'll inhale the arm overhead or into cactus, and exhale, the arm comes down. So we're gonna inhale maybe for 4 counts, and exhale for 5. As you're inhaling, you want to lift the rib cage off of your hips, lifting up out of the pelvis. And as you exhale, do so with a consistency. So that's why I like to use the 4 count inhale and the 5 count exhale. It's nice and soothing for our nervous system. And the repetition is great for our nervous system. So we don't want it to be jagged. So we wouldn't want to go inhale 4, exhale 3, or something like that. We're really trying to build in some nourishing energy. Now this next time, as the arm comes up, then invite the other arm to come up with it. So pause here, but keep breathing. This is a pose for building confidence. So we all have to occasionally be the warrior in our jobs or in our lives. Different situations require confidence. So find that now. So you're fixing your gaze on one point, you're breathing, and again, notice as you exhale how the navel contracts a little bit towards the spine. That protects our back, but it also is really healthy for our internal organs. When you're ready, softly exhale everything down. You might want to pause for a second in the middle. Notice how that feels on the side that we were lifting that arm. Notice how that feels in your rib cage, around your heart, maybe in your shoulder. And we'll switch to the other side. So again, you got to play with where it feels appropriate for this back foot. So make some adjustments. Don't just assume it has to look a certain way or needs to follow what I'm doing. You live in your body, so do what feels right in your body. And if you wanted to stand, you could lift the heel up more of like a lunge, or you could place the heel down into like the classic Warrior One. And from here, fix your gaze and inhale up and exhale down. So this time I'll count for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And continue on using your breath pace. So it might not be like mine, but after you reach the top of your inhale, I'd like you to just pause for a beat. So you might notice that I count to 4, then I pause, and then I say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 more times following your breath pattern. Building up a little bit of nourishing heat, finding your confident, strong warrior self. This time when you reach the top, take the other arm up with you. Breathe here. Notice how you're lifting your ribs up out of your pelvis, creating that space for yourself to be broad, to be bold, brave. And when you're ready, exhale both arms down. If you're using the chair, come back to your chair. Now we're gonna go to one side, and we'll do a 3-part sun breath. So this is also a little more energizing. This would not be appropriate if you have like untreated high blood pressure, if you have a recent heart condition, sometimes during menstruation or pregnancy. So if you're in any of those categories, you're gonna do a very gentle version of this. So you won't use your arms, your hands will come down like this and stay there, okay? For everyone else, it looks like this. We're gonna inhale, the arms come up, inhale. These inhales are like sips. So it'll be inhale, 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 and then when we exhale, we'll place our hands here, we'll lean forward, we'll exhale out our mouth. So I'll show you once and then you can do it at your pace. So it's okay, now you can begin. So I'm inhaling through my nose, 1, 2, 3 inhales through the nose, place my hands on my legs, exhale out my mouth. And I'm doing this a little bit slowly, just so you can get the idea of it. If you were really angry about something, you could go with much more gusto. And if you're standing, make sure that you're not getting too lightheaded. So again, those people with blood pressure issues, make it smaller. So maybe you, if you're standing, it might look like, okay, so it doesn't have to be huge. But if you're angry, you can make it as big as you want to, because you gotta work that stuff out. So 2 more times. This time, wherever you are, placing your hands on your legs, press your feet into the floor, and then slowly you could walk your hands up your legs. All right, now I'd like to teach you a breath practice. So we've been doing some moderate levels of building heat and energy in the body. There are also times when we've got too much energy in the body and we need to bring our energy down. So to prepare for the rest of your day, you're probably gonna wanna be somewhere in the middle. You need to be awake, so you need some energy, but you don't wanna be too anxious, right? So the next practice we're doing, this is a breath practice called Brahmari, which is in Indian, there's a bee, a black bee, apparently. So we're gonna make a noise like a bee on our exhale. Now this is very soothing for our nervous system. You really have to find what pitch works for you. If you like it higher, middle, lower. You can do this with your eyes focused. You can close your eyes. I'm gonna offer that you can close the cartilage part of your ear and really go inward. Now, if that is not appropriate, maybe because going inward is anxiety producing for you, then just leave that part out. You can just leave your hands on your lap. There's many varieties of this, and I don't have the time in this short morning practice to give you all the history and all the details. I'm just giving you a little preview, and maybe in a future video I could spend more time going over those details. So you're gonna inhale through your nose comfortably, you're gonna exhale through your nose comfortably, but as you're exhaling, soften the jaw. So you're gonna take your bottom teeth away from your top teeth. So I'll show you what this looks like. And you're not forcing your breath out. It should be soothing, comfortable. It doesn't have to be the longest exhale. You're not trying to win anything here. But the vocalization, feeling it in your chest, very, very soothing. So if you're gonna close off this cartilage part of your ear, just so you know, we'll do a round of about 5. I'm just making up that number. And then after you do your round of about 5, you can replace your hands back to your lap. If you like your eyes closed, continue to keep them closed, and I will bring us out of this final practice. So I'm gonna close my ears off. I'm gonna do a few. I'm not gonna keep going for 5 so that you don't hear me, but you hear yourself. After you finish 5 rounds, relax your hands. If the eyes are closed, keep them closed. If the eyes are downcast, remain there. Create some softness around the eyes, softness in the face, softness in the jaw. Noticing any of that resilient, healing sound, that vibration, and how it heals us from the inside. So the breath heals us from the inside. The heat that we build, the confidence that we build heals us from the inside. So that as we move and interact in our world, we've got that radiant, resilient, energetic, but not egoistic kind of presentation to share. So notice any resilient sensations from this practice. And how can you use that throughout your day? Maybe there was one breath practice or one pose or one sensation that really resonates with you. Maybe you can imagine yourself bringing that into a daily habit or several times a day. These practices, even though they're so simple, they can be so powerful. Now bringing your palms together, bring your attention to the center of your palms. Rub your palms together. And then placing your palms either at your heart center or covering and cupping your eyes. Breathing in. Exhaling, and if your palms are covering your eyes, softly blink your eyes into your palms. And then release your palms, coming back into your room and your space. I hope this practice helps you get through your day, through your week, and I hope you share it with someone else. Continue practicing with me and be well.